60, Shania Twain finally broke her silence, not with a whisper but with the force of a woman who had spent decades swallowing storms. For years, she smiled through interviews, dazzled on stage, and let the rumors swirl like dust in a desert wind. People speculated about her childhood, how poverty carved its initials into her bones. They whispered about mysterious illnesses that stole her voice when the world needed it most. And then there was the betrayal, the kind that doesn't just break a heart but rewires your entire nervous system. When she finally spoke, it wasn't to clear the air. It was to reclaim her story. Born Eileen Regina Edwards on a quiet August day in 1965, Windsor, Ontario, offered little warmth to a girl whose life would soon become a battleground. By age 2, her parents' marriage had shattered. Her mother, Sharon, became both shield and provider, until she married Jerry Twain, an Ojibwe man whose name Shania would carry into legend, even as his hands left bruises no spotlight could erase. They moved to Timmins, a mining town where winters bit harder than wolves and electricity was a luxury. Bread smeared with mustard was dinner. Moose meat, hunted and frozen, was survival. And by age 3, while other children played with dolls, Shania stood before microphones in local radio studios, her voice already a currency her family desperately needed. Her mother saw gold in that voice and pushed her toward it, mile after grueling mile, talent show after talent show. At 5, she won her first ribbon and $5, a fortune in a house where bills chased them from door to door. But behind the applause, darkness festered. Jerry's temper flared like gasoline. He beat Sharon in front of the girls. 10, Shania watched him shove her mother's head into a toilet bowl. She swung a chair at him. He punched her in the face. That same year, his hands began to wander, touching her in ways that made her shrink inside herself. She layered bras like armor, hoping to disappear. Police came. Nothing changed. They fled to a shelter once. Returned out of desperation. While other girls dreamed of prom dresses, Shania sang in smoky bars past midnight, dodging drunk men who thought a child's body was public property. She earned $20 a night, enough for groceries, never enough for peace. She wrote songs in secret, scribbling lyrics like lifelines. One was called Mama, Won't You Come Out to Play?, a plea to a mother drowning in depression, leaving a 10-year-old to cook, clean, and keep the lights on. Then, in 1987, fate delivered its cruelest twist. A logging truck. A head-on collision. Her mother and Jerry gone. Shania, just 22, became a parent overnight to 3 younger siblings. Dreams were shelved. Survival was the only album she could afford to record. She took a job at Deerhurst Resort, singing nightly for tourists while tucking her siblings into bed between sets. 5 years passed like this, mother, singer, martyr. Nashville came calling in 1989. She arrived with nothing but a borrowed name and grit forged in fire. Rejected. Overlooked. Told her sound was too rock for country. She cleaned houses to pay for vocal lessons. Slept on couches. Then Robert John Mutt Lange, the producer behind AC/DC and Def Leppard, heard something in her no one else did. Within 6 months, they were married. Within 2 years, The Woman in Me exploded. 12 million copies sold, diamond certified, rewriting the rules of country music. But behind the glitter? Lyme disease creeping through her nerves. Undiagnosed. Unseen. Silently strangling her voice. She fought for creative control in an industry that told women to smile and sing. Co-produced her own albums when few dared. Wore crop tops on stage and danced like a rock star while Nashville purists called her bubblegum betrayal. Death threats arrived. Radio stations banned her. She didn't flinch. "I'm not leaving country," she said. "I'm expanding it." Then came Come On Over. 40 million copies, the best-selling album by a female artist in history. Romantic ballads like You're Still the One soared, written while her marriage quietly cracked. 'Cause behind closed doors, Mutt was pulling away. The Lyme disease had stolen more than her vocal range. It stole their intimacy. Till they soldiered on. Tours. Grammys. Sold-out stadiums. Elton John duets. Backstreet Boys collabs. She was untouchable until she wasn't. May 2008. Phone call that unraveled everything. Not from a tabloid. Not from a rumor mill. From Frederick Thibault, the husband of her best friend and personal assistant, Marianne. Mutt was sleeping with her. The betrayal wasn't just romantic. It was surgical. Precision cut to sever every nerve of trust she'd ever rebuilt. Divorce followed. Mutt stayed with Marianne. Shania collapsed, emotionally, physically. 43, standing on a Swiss balcony, she nearly jumped. Her son's face stopped her. Asia, born in 2001, her anchor in chaos. What no one knew. The Lyme disease she contracted in 2003 while horseback riding had metastasized into dysphonia. Nerve damage so severe, doctors told her she might never sing again. Blackouts every 30 seconds. Voice cuts mid-sentence. Panic attacks under stage lights. She grieved her voice like a death. Underwent open-throat surgery in 2018, awake singing as surgeons implanted Gore-Tex supports into her vocal cords. The scar? She wears it like a medal. And yet, she forgave Mutt. Not for him. For her. His mistake is his to carry, she said. Not mine. In 2011, she married Frederick, the man who delivered the worst news of her life. Two broken souls stitching themselves together. That same year, she released her autobiography, From This Moment On, laying bare the abuse, the poverty, the betrayal. Critics called it brutally honest. Fans called it healing. Here's what haunts me. How does someone endure so much and still choose to sing? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Her comeback wasn't graceful. It was gritty. The Vegas residency, Still the One, 2012 to 2014, grossed $43 million, but she lip-synced parts, terrified her voice would fail. Now, her 2017 album marked 15 years since her last release. #1 on Billboard. Lyrics soaked in divorce and rebirth. Then Queen of Me in 2023, at 57, posing topless on the cover, declaring war on the shame that had silenced her since childhood. I'm done hiding, she said. The tour that followed? 75 shows. $114 million. Coachella surprise with Harry Styles. Aerial stunts. Costume changes. Pure unapologetic joy. COVID-19 nearly killed her in 2020. Pneumonia. Lungs filling daily. Antibodies near zero. Flatlined. Airlifted. Survived. Wrote songs about fresh air like it was holy. Today at 60, Shania Twain isn't just a survivor. She's a monument. A living testament that trauma doesn't have to be your tombstone, it can be your foundation. She sang in bars at 8 to feed her siblings. Now she headlines festivals at 59, voice deeper but richer, scars visible but sacred. Her story isn't about fame. It's about refusing to be erased.